Greetings, and welcome to Stillness Unfolded, where ancient Buddhist tales light the path to inner peace. I'm so glad you're here on this channel of timeless wisdom. Are you restless at night, tossing beneath a silent sky, your mind a storm of thoughts while sleep slips away? You've tried everything: tea, pillows, endless sheep, but relief stays out of reach. What if sleep's secret isn't in the struggle? Tonight, we'll unravel it through a Buddhist tale, whispered across centuries, hiding a truth you've felt but never named. This video is a trove of insights. Stay till the end to unlock it all. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below to help Stillness Unfolded grow. Ready to discover what's keeping you awake? Let's begin. The weaver's restless loom. Long ago, in a village cradled between emerald rice fields and misty hills, there lived a weaver named Ananda. Her days were a symphony of skill and grace, her nimble fingers threading silk into patterns that seemed to whisper tales of beauty and patience. The villagers marveled at her work: shawls that shimmered like the dawn, robes that draped like flowing streams. Yet, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the world hushed, Ananda's peace unraveled. Her mind became a loom of its own, tirelessly spinning threads of worry. Would the rains arrive to nourish her struggling crops? Would her daughter, headstrong and dreamer-eyed, find a husband worthy of her spirit? Had she, in a fleeting moment of distraction, wounded her neighbor with a careless word? Night after night, she lay beneath her thatched roof, eyes tracing the wooden beams, her thoughts knotting like flaws in her finest silk, pulling her further from the rest her body craved. One evening, exhaustion etched deep into her bones, Ananda trudged to the village well where a wandering monk had paused to rest. His robes were patched, his staff worn, but his eyes glowed with a quiet light, gentle as the first rays of morning. She knelt before him, her voice trembling like a reed in the wind. "Venerable sir," she said, "my hands weave wonders by day, but my body longs for sleep that never comes. My mind refuses to be still. What must I do?" The monk tilted his head, as if listening to a melody only he could hear, then smiled softly. "The mind is like your loom, Ananda. Tell me, when you weave all day, do you leave the threads taut and unfinished?" She shook her head, puzzled. "No, I release them, or the silk will tear under the strain." "So it is with your thoughts," he replied. "Hold them tightly, and they bind you like chains. Let them go, and peace will weave itself into the fabric of your night." That night, Ananda returned home, her heart heavy yet curious. She sat by her bedside, the flickering oil lamp casting shadows that danced like her restless thoughts. Closing her eyes, she pictured her loom, not the wooden frame in her workshop, but the one within her mind. Each worry became a thread: the rains, a taut gray strand; her daughter's future, a vibrant but tangled red; her neighbor's hurt, a thin, fraying blue. One by one, she imagined loosening them, her fingers now in her mind's eye gently sliding the shuttle back, letting the threads fall into the quiet dark. She whispered to them, "Rest now, for I cannot carry you tonight." To her astonishment, a stillness settled over her, soft as the mist that hugged the hills at dawn. For the first time in years, sleep came not as a battle fought and won, but as a natural tide, washing over her like the river that cradled her village. This tale carries a truth the Buddha shared with his disciples beneath the Bodhi tree. Peace is not the absence of trouble, but the courage to release our grip on it. Like Ananda, we too lie awake, ensnared in the illusion that rest waits until every worry is smoothed, every knot untangled. But life, as the monk understood, is a tapestry woven of endless threads, some radiant with joy, others frayed by sorrow. To sleep deeply, we need not mend them all before the moon rises, we need only set them down, trusting that the dawn will bring new hands to hold them. As you sit with this story tonight, ask yourself, what threads are you clutching? Perhaps a regret, a fear, a hope that you might gently release, even just for now. The answer could be the first stitch in a night woven with true stillness. Why the mind refuses to rest. Let us pause here, like travelers resting by a stream, to ponder a question as old as the stars. Why does sleep elude so many of us, even when our bodies cry out for it? The Buddha, in his boundless compassion, spoke of attachment as a root of suffering, not merely to gold or glory, but to the invisible chains of our thoughts. Picture a river at dusk, its surface trembling with every gust of wind, ripples spreading outward without end. That is your mind at night, stirred by echoes of yesterday's missteps, the weight of tomorrow's tasks, or the faint, persistent hum of what if. I have walked this path myself. Years ago, when I first began teaching the Dharma, I would lie awake after a day of sharing wisdom, my mind replaying every word. Had I explained karma with clarity? Would my students return to hear more? The more I clung to those questions, the tighter they wound around me, like vines choking a young tree. Sleep became a distant shore, and I a weary rower battling the current. This is a trap we all stumble into, believing that peace lies beyond a perfect day, a solved riddle, a silenced fear. Yet the secret I uncovered, one the Buddha offered to all who would listen, is this: the mind need not be empty to rest, it need only be free. Consider my friend Priya, a mother and shopkeeper whose life was a whirlwind of care. Over a steaming cup of tea one afternoon, she confessed to me, "I cannot sleep, for my mind is a marketplace, every stall shouting for my attention." Her son's faltering studies clamored in one corner, her husband's frail health bartered in another, and the bills, piling like monsoon rains, haggled relentlessly. I smiled and asked, "When you close your shop at night, do you carry every coin, every bolt of cloth home with you?" She laughed, her eyes crinkling. "No, I'd collapse under the weight." "Then why," I pressed gently, "do you carry this marketplace into your bed?" The question hung between us like incense smoke, lingering long after our tea grew cold. Priya's story mirrors a teaching from the sutras. Thoughts are guests in the house of our minds. Some arrive with quiet footsteps, others bang on the door, but we are the hosts. We need not entertain them until the rooster crows. Too often, we treat our worries as permanent residents, offering them a seat at our table, a bed beside ours. But what if we greeted them instead with a nod and a farewell? I recall a night when my own marketplace roared, deadlines loomed, a friend's harsh words stung, and a storm threatened my home. I lay there, restless, until I asked myself Priya's question: why carry this burden now? Buddhism teaches us to see thoughts as clouds drifting across a vast sky, beautiful, fleeting, but not ours to hold forever. So I invite you to wonder, what marketplace are you hauling into your night? What guest might you kindly bid good night, trusting the dawn to welcome them anew? The lanterns of letting go. Now, let us turn to a practice as ancient as the hills of India, one I have woven into my own nights and shared with countless seekers. In the monasteries of Tibet, monks spoke of releasing the day as one might send lanterns drifting on a river. Picture this with me: you sit by a quiet stream, the sky above stitched with stars, the water below a mirror of the night. In your hands rests a small paper lantern, its glow faint but warm. Into it, you place a worry, perhaps a sharp word you let slip today, a task left unfinished, or a shadow of fear for what tomorrow may bring. You strike a match, light the wick, and set the lantern upon the stream. It bobs gently, then floats away, its light shrinking into the dark until it vanishes beyond the bend. This is not about denying your troubles, it is about trusting that they need not cling to you in this sacred hour of rest. I first tried this after a week when my pen had run dry, my mind buzzing with deadlines and doubts. Sitting in the stillness, I imagined my worries as lanterns, each a fragile vessel of light. The unfinished manuscript drifted first, then the fear of failure, then the ache of a friend's silence. As I watched them float away in my mind's eye, my shoulders softened, my breath grew deep and slow. Sleep did not come because I wrestled it into submission, it came because I carved a space for it, like a clearing in a tangled wood. You might try this tonight. Find a quiet moment before bed, no pen required, just the canvas of your imagination. Name one weight upon your heart, a bill unpaid, a conversation unresolved, a choice that gnaws. See it as a lantern, delicate and light. Release it to the river of night, whispering, "I'll see you tomorrow, but not now." Here's a curious thing I've noticed over years of guiding others: the number one sign you're holding on too tight isn't the worry itself, it's the tension in your chest, so subtle you scarcely feel it until it lifts. It's as if the body whispers what the mind refuses to hear. Can you spot that quiet signal in yourself tonight? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them below and share how this practice feels for you. In the Sangha, we learn from one another's steps, and your lantern might light another's way. The breath of a silent forest. If the mind is a river, then the breath is its current, ever flowing, ever present, yet so often unnoticed amid the clamor of our days. In Buddhist practice, breath is a sacred bridge, ferrying us from chaos to calm. A monk once shared with me a simple truth as we sat beneath a banyan tree: when the wind howls through a forest, the trees sway, but their roots hold firm. Your breath is your root, trust it. Those words became a lantern of their own, guiding me through nights when the world roared too loudly. Once, after a storm tore through my village, uprooting half my garden, I lay awake, fretting over the loss. The flowers I'd tended, the herbs I'd nurtured, all scattered like ashes. Then I recalled the monk's voice. Closing my eyes, I felt the rise and fall of my chest, each breath a root sinking deep into the earth of now. The storm remained, but its hold on me dissolved, carried away on the wind of my exhale. Here is a practice I offer you. Lie down, rest a hand on your belly, and breathe in for 4 counts, letting it swell like a lotus unfurling to the sun. Exhale for 6, imagining the day's dust settling into the soil. Whisper to yourself, "I am here, I am enough." This is no spell, it is a balm, a medicine older than words. Science may tell us slow breathing soothes the nervous system, lowering the heart's frantic beat, but Buddhism unveils a deeper layer. Each breath reminds us that this moment, this inhale, is all we truly possess. I once knew a man named Tashi, a carpenter whose hands, once deft with chisel and wood, grew stiff with age. At night, they twitched with the ghosts of tools he could no longer wield, keeping him from rest. I taught him this breath, guiding him to feel the air as it moved, to let it cradle his weary fingers. Over weeks, he found peace not in reclaiming his craft, but in resting within the now. Try it tonight, as the world quiets around you. Let your breath be your anchor, your silent forest amid the storm. What shifts when you let it lead the way? Share your experience below. I am eager to hear how this simple act ripples through your night. The body as a temple of rest. There is another tale I cherish, one I've kept close, sharing it only in hushed gatherings by candlelight. In a village along the Ganges, a fisherman named Kavi wrestled with sleep. His days were a dance with the river, hauling nets beneath a sun that blazed like a forge, his muscles straining against the current. Yet at night, his body hummed with tension, his mind replaying every wave he'd battled, every fish that slipped free. One dusk, as the river turned gold with the setting sun, he met an old woman by the bank, her hands wrinkled as the water's edge, her eyes deep as its depths. "Why can't I rest?" he asked, voice rough with fatigue. She pointed to the Ganges. "See how it flows without forcing its path? Your body yearns to rest, but your mind drags it upstream." She knelt beside him, her voice a murmur against the river's song. "Listen to your body, not to fight it, but to feel it." That night, Kavi lay on his mat, the air thick with the scent of fish and damp earth. He traced his awareness from his calloused feet, weary from the day's toil, to his broad shoulders, taut from the nets. He let each part soften, imagining them sinking into the riverbed, mud yielding beneath rain. Sleep found him not through effort, but through surrender, as if the Ganges itself had rocked him into its embrace. This is the mindfulness body scan, a practice I've honed over decades. Begin at your toes, notice any ache, any warmth, then let them melt into the bed. Move to your legs, your belly, your arms, your face, picturing a warm breeze sweeping over you, carrying the day's weight downstream. I've seen this transform restless nights for those I've guided. A woman named Lila once told me, bedtime was a battlefield, my mind a clash of swords. Now, it's a sanctuary, a temple of quiet. What might your temple feel like tonight? After you try this, leave a comment below. What part of your body held the most tension, and how did it feel to release it? Your voice might echo Kavi's, guiding another soul to shore. Sleep as a sacred dance. In Buddhism, sleep is not a mere pause, it is a prayer, a renewal of body and spirit. The Buddha saw rest as a gift, a chance for the heart to mend beneath the stars. I recall a story from my wanderings in Thailand, where a young novice monk, eager and bright-eyed, questioned his teacher beneath a temple's golden roof. "Why do we sleep if time is so precious?" he asked, his voice sharp with the zeal of youth. The teacher, his face carved with years of stillness, replied, "A dancer cannot leap without stepping back. Sleep is your step back, honor it." Those words reshaped how I see the night, not as a chore to be conquered, but as a rhythm in life's vast dance. Too often, we resist it, muttering, "I must sleep now," as if rest were a foe to be subdued. But force only breeds defiance. What if we welcomed it instead, like a friend crossing the threshold at dusk? Consider my neighbor May, a grandmother whose days brimmed with the laughter and tears of her grandchildren. At night, she lay awake, counting worries like beads on a mala. Would they grow strong? Would they find joy? Would she be there to see it? I sat with her one evening, the crickets humming beyond her window, and suggested an intention: tonight, I rest for myself and those I love. She paired it with a soft breath, letting it weave through her words, and found sleep not as a victory seized, but a gift received. Try this tonight. Whisper an intention as you lie down: I release this day, I embrace this night. When dawn breaks, greet it with a quiet thanks: I am here, and that is enough. Sleep, you see, is not merely closing your eyes, it is trusting the world to spin without your hands on the wheel, a sacred dance between effort and ease. Here we are, dear companions, poised at the edge of night, where restless shadows fade into stillness. Sleep, as this Buddhist tale has revealed, isn't a foe to tame, it's a secret to unravel, a river to enter, a breath to trust. Tonight, as you lie down, release one restless thread, a worry, a regret, a burden, and watch it drift into the dark. Breathe deep, let your mind quiet, and let rest unfold like a lotus at dawn. This is the Buddhist way, not to fight the night, but to weave peace within it. May your nights soften, your mornings glow. If this tale has stirred your soul, subscribe to Stillness Unfolded for more wisdom. Like this video, drop a comment: what did you let go tonight, and help us craft stories that touch you deeper. You've journeyed through a tapestry of insight. Thank you for staying till the end. Good night, my friend. May sleep's secret cradle you home.